gratitude, and I've returned to a practice that I first started 4 years ago. But before I share with you a little bit more about how that came about, what I saw in the first 30 days of doing it and why I'm doing it at the moment, I actually started to see the themes of this video play out in the setup whilst I was setting up the videos. We're setting up the lights and the backdrop behind me now, and I decided just to record it. So I'm gonna let my former self tell you what I was discovering in the moment. I'm setting up for today's video, and this process of putting up these fairy lights has got me thinking about the themes in this video today. I first put these lights on the 3 things I've learned whilst being single. And they're coming down again. I first put up these lights on the 3 things I've learned whilst being single video. You know, the one I put on Valentine's Day. And I wanted to put them up again today to create, you know, a nice atmosphere, talking about gratitude, and I thought that they would create the kind of atmosphere of the way it makes me feel when I'm feeling grateful. The thing is, since I first put them up, they fell down just like then, and they got really tangled up in a massive knot. And this knot reminded me of how I used to feel before I let stuff go, before I started talking therapy, and before I started putting practices in place to help myself maintain my mental health and my general well-being. Most of the time, my stomach, well, actually it felt like it was all the time. I'm sure it subsided at sometimes, but it felt like it never did. My stomach felt like it was in an actual knot in knots, and my muscles did as well, especially around my neck and my back and my shoulders. They were knotted up like these lights. And when I was going to first tackle unknotting them, I found it very overwhelming, to the point where I put it off for a long time. And when I came to make this video, I was like, I'm gonna unknot these lights because I really feel like they would add something to the video and I like to include them. It's gonna be a task. So I started unknotting them and it's going well. See, 1, 2, all these 3 ones. And then we still got a knot here. And I'll be honest, it actually kind of put me off making the video for a few days because I kept thinking in the back of my mind, I'm gonna have to deal with that last knot. It reminded me that everything is a process, and sometimes I may want things to be fixed and sorted straight away, but life is about the journey. And that sounds cheesy, but it is. And there's all these words and phrases that have been passed down to us from generations before, which are incredible to receive. And you know that moment when you start to actually, you know, you hear them, but then when you actually start to experience them and really understand what it is, and it's no longer just a quote, you're actually experiencing what that person had experienced before and was passing on. But this really is showing me that it really is about the process, and that I can find fun in the process. Like by including it in the video right now, before the video starts, even though this is probably somewhere during the video or at the end of the video, I don't know where it will go in the video. And the practice of gratitude helps me with enjoying the moment, because it's something that helps me be in the moment. Because if I am focused and paying attention to what I am grateful for in this very moment, then I'm here. If I'm focused on the act of actually unpicking it and finding that I'm grateful for being able to learn a lesson here, or that it's a mindful activity that helps me stay centered, because that can be something helpful in itself, and the magic that can occur when we unpick and unknot the knots. It's like this. But as we undo the knots, they end up like this. And then we can actually see the physical space between the knots and see each light for what it is. And it's shining bright. And it could be shining on something in the space there, or it could be just shining for itself, because it doesn't need to prove anything, it doesn't need to be anything. It can just exist and be the shiny light that it was born to be. Back to the video. In a nutshell, it made me realise that things can get knotted up. Underneath it all, we are still who we are. We are always who we are, and who we are is enough, no matter what has happened in the past or what is happening in the moment right now. Now I'm going to be more mindful of these lights, and now that I have more awareness, if I see them start to knot up and get tangled up, then I will jump in and help them sooner rather than later. Because the sooner I take action, the sooner I can participate and have fun in the gloriousness, messiness of life. Sometimes I need a bit of a reminder to help myself be grateful. Because, you know, as I said, life happens and things can get knotted up, and then it can be hard to pay attention to what's important and what's already here right in front of us. Now that gratitude is in my awareness, I feel like I see it everywhere and everyone is talking about it. Gratitude, 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 gratitude. I really feel like I must have heard the word. Obviously I heard the word gratitude, but I never heard of actually a practice of gratitude. I want to share with you who I heard it from. I started to watch these videos by an acting coach called Anthony Mandel. So I was watching his videos, and they quite often do these teaching moments in the classes, and he films these and then he puts them up on his YouTube channel. And he suggested to the students in the class, why not just write down for 30 days 3 things that you're grateful for? And I originally thought 300 things that I've got to be grateful for. I actually felt a little bit overwhelmed to begin with. And then I started writing it down. I was like, actually, oh my gosh, I've got a million things to be grateful for. And what I decided to do was, before I go to sleep at night, to write these things down. I don't make a massive deal of it. I just write them down. Before I do the 30 days, I write it in a book like this, and I plot out the 1, 2, 3. I do 30 days, I count the first day that I do it on, so it's already set up, so all I have to do is go in before I go to sleep and write down the 3 things. Now, I have found it very beneficial doing it before I go to sleep because, 1, it's something that signals to my brain that it's now time to go to sleep. It means that the last few things that I'm thinking about before I go to sleep are joyous things, uplifting things, grateful things, things that I'm grateful for. I'm sure I've heard someone say this before, but I've experienced it. What I go to sleep thinking about is what I wake up thinking about. It is a bit like when you have a crush on someone, you can't get them out of your mind, so you go to bed thinking about them, you wake up thinking about them, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I must really like them because I can't stop thinking about them. But if you go to sleep thinking about something, then you're going to wake up thinking about that thing as well. So I like to go to sleep thinking about things I'm grateful for. I like waking up thinking about things I'm grateful for. And because I know I'm going to do this at night time, it helps me start to kind of take notice throughout the day, things I'm grateful for. And in that whole unknotting, untangling, introspection process, I sort of become aware of my stories and things that were causing the friction. So now when I'm looking for what I'm grateful for, if I can see evidence for something that isn't to do with those things that I was against, like if I struggled before in the past with not accepting myself, I look out for things where I do accept myself, and then I will be grateful for those things and I'll write them down. And it really does build self-acceptance within myself, realising that I'm enough. Those are personal things that I've been working on. I also do mix it up with other tangible things to be grateful for, because that can be a thing, can't it, of feeling lack in our lives, feeling like we don't have enough of physical objects. And having that mindset, I have found, can really hold me back if I'm focusing on those types of things, because it's often caused me to delay doing things. So now I really like to just, like with the other things, like with our knotting, just jump in and go, I'm going to work with exactly what I have and trust that everything will keep expanding. It always does. But not even focus on the expansion, just focus on what it is that I'm working with and what I can experience in that moment. this YouTube channel is a very good example of that. I put off starting a YouTube channel for a while because I thought I don't have a proper camera, I don't have a DSLR camera or mirrorless camera. And then I realized I do have a camera. I have a camera on my smartphone. And I didn't have a top of the range smartphone. In fact, I used to have a better upgraded smartphone which broke. And then I got a lower smartphone. But I still decided that at that moment, I'm going to make a YouTube channel, I'm going to start making videos, and I don't care that I'm making it on my smartphone. I'm not going to let anything hold me back. And it's through these things, like writing down those things before I go to sleep. Well, I'm grateful that I was able to film a video on my smartphone today. Now I'm filming on a DSLR camera. And you know, it's always the attitude that we can take, isn't it? It really is the attitude of gratitude, because you could take the attitude of, oh no, this camera is not good enough. But if I didn't already have that mindset of my smartphone camera was good enough, then, or good enough, just enough, then I would struggle to, with this camera now, to think, oh, it's enough. And I really do appreciate it. But if I hadn't had that mindset, I could have easily gone down the route of, I need to have a more upgraded model. This model is a few years old. It's not good enough. And it's always going to be like that. And that can cause a lot of internal knots. I really feel like gratitude has changed the energy of myself. And that's why I tend to go back to it if I feel like my energy is shifting. Obviously things happen, I have feelings. This is not about only think happy thoughts all the time, only ever feel, you know, as I said, I'm always looking and working with things if they start getting knotted up, and I honour those things and I hold them and I work with them. And in fact, I'm still in talking therapy. I still like to go to a space and reflect on what's going on so that I can make the next best choice. Gratitude has just given me an added lightness, and bringing in things like meditation so that I can focus on what's going on and be mindful has really helped turn my life in a new direction, and has led me to making these videos because I wanted to be part of a community of people who are sharing these things and sharing about their transformational growth. It's fun and exciting, and I'm grateful for you